Hi, everybody. My name is Kenneth Olmstead, and I want to welcome you to Community Week. We're all very excited to have everyone here. For ISOC, the community is an extremely important part of all of our work. I co-lead the Measurements Project, and I will be giving a very brief overview of the project and our Pulse platform before handing it over to the true stars of the show, our community members. First up, we'll have Rachad Sanoussi from the Benin chapter, who'll be talking about a shutdown that didn't happen because of the work of our chapter. Next, we'll have Dieudonné, who is one of our early career fellows, a program you can learn more about in the lobby of this event. We have a bunch, and it's a very cool program. And then finally, MIRA from UNI, who is a data partner of ISOC's, actually a very recent data partner of ISOC's. They contribute to our Pulse platform, and she's going to talk to you about how to contribute to a very interesting project that they run on they collect data globally on internet censorship. First, I'm going to do some very quick housekeeping notes. Please be engaged and respectful and responsibly. Please follow us on the Community Week Twitter hashtag, which is Community Week 21. Excuse me. This is the English channel. You can get interpretation into French and Spanish. Closed captioning is also available. To do that, you actually have to leave this room and join either French or Spanish if you wish to learn to listen to those languages. Please use the chat for any comments in English, French, or Spanish. If you could format the questions with your name, your country, and ideally who you want to direct their question to, if it's one of us specific speakers, that would be great. And then finally, the session is being recorded, and it will be made available after the event. So without further ado, I'm going to quickly go into the Pulse platform. Let's see if this click works. Perfect. So as I said earlier, I'm the co-lead of the Measuring the Internet project. We collate data from many data sources into the Pulse platform. It's basically to show the health of the internet. We do it in 4 main focus areas. So we launched in December 2020 after about a year and a half of background research. All the sources we vet and work with them directly. So we work with our data partners regularly. Our audience is really anyone who wants to learn about the internet. Policymakers come to us when they are making regulations about the internet to learn about how it could affect the network. Researchers, we work with lots of academics around the world. And finally, journalists, civil society groups, really anyone who cares about the health of the internet and its well-being. So we have 4 main focus areas. We initially launched with 2, and then we launched actually the third one yesterday, 2 days ago, and centralization, which is coming later. So the first is enabling technologies. This tracks 5 main technologies that we think are really important to how the internet functions. The first is IPv6, TLS 1.3, HTTPS, and DNSSEC. I'm not going to go into what those are because we are pretty short on time, but if you are curious about that, you can pop it in the chat. We can talk about it at the end. The second is internet shutdowns. This is a really important one for us. We have a database where we track every time a country artificially shuts down the internet. So we are not talking about cable cuts, but we are talking about when a government decides to turn it off, like they almost did in Benin, which we will hear about later. We track the duration of the shutdown, how many people it affected, the reason, and then we back it up with 3 sources, usually from either journalists or sometimes the governments actually put out announcements saying, hey, we're going to turn off the internet. So we collect all of that into a report on each shutdown, and it goes back to about 2019. And we also have data. We get data from Access Now, UNI, and several other places to collate all of that. Internet Resilience, which was just launched this week, is a very cool project that we'll also hear about more later. The short version is we now have a model where we can measure the resilience of a country's network. Now it's in Africa. We started in Africa, but the idea is to take this model and be able to say, that when something goes down, how easily can the network bounce back. So this is super cool. We just launched it. We're very excited, so please check that out. And then centralization, which should be coming by the end of the year, will also be added to Pulse, and that's going to be, it's basically about how many entities, whether it's governments or companies, control the sort of underlying guts of the internet, so CDNs or time servers or stuff like that. And so that's also a very cool project we're really looking forward to. You can follow us, ISOC_Pulse. You can see some of our data partners over there on the right. There are many more, so if you go to pulse.internetsociety.org, you can see our partners. Please sign up for our Pulse mailing list. The link is in that slide. And finally, if you have any questions, please email us at pulse@asktalk.org. If you have questions, if you work for an organization that has data that could be useful, that would be great. We want to add as many data partners as we possibly can. So that would be awesome. That's it for me. I think if we could throw out the Pulse promo video, that would be great. Great. So that was our Pulse promo video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to share that anywhere. We want as many people to see it as possible. We worked really hard on it. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our next speaker, who's going to be Rachad Sanoussi from the Benin chapter to talk about shutdown in Benin that didn't happen because some of the work that the chapter did, which is pretty cool. Hand it over.
Okay, thank you. I am Rachad Sanoussi. I am from Benin. I serve as head of communication of ISOC Benin chapter. So I'm so happy to join all of you for this session today. So I'm going to talk about what could we prevent an internet shutdown. So next slide, please. So my presentation will follow this outline. After speaking about the preambles to internet shutdown in Benin, I will make a brief overview of the social political situation in 2021, and after I will talk about the action we took to fight against this, and after I will conclude. Next slide, please. I want to talk about, firstly, we had an internet shutdown in 2019 in April during our legislative election, and the reason is that we have a high traffic of congestion during election, and that is why they shut down the internet at this time in 2019. Also, one reason is about they are fighting about fake news. You know, fake news has many issues, and when it comes to election, it can affect the election. So that is one reason that they said to shut down the internet. Another reason is that the failure noted on the internet supply. That is also another reason. Next slide, please. So this internet shutdown in 2019 had a lot of consequences in Benin because we lost many things in this moment. Benin reportedly lost 1.1 million in 2000 in 21 hours of internet shutdown. So we lost many things. Nothing can happen. We cannot communicate each other. We cannot communicate with another country, and that one is not very good. And this shutdown also have impacted many users of internet in our community. So we also lost our digital toys because it is our first time we had such internet shutdown, and it is on 2019. That internet shutdown also have many repercussions on our digital ecosystem. Next slide, please. So in 2021, we had to have our presidential election in April, and we have many presidential candidates. Like the current president also is one of the postulants, and the social political situation is that we have also some divide before that election, and this help this allow some trouble in the north of the country, precisely in Paraco and also in Atitenge. And after that, we have also some big event who is not good because they are fear about fake news. So that was the social political situation in 2091 before the presidential election. Next slide, please. So to prevent another internet shutdown again, we really did some action within Internet Society Benin chapter in collaboration with many organizations in our country. So I will present in the last slide the action we did to prevent this situation. Next slide, please. So firstly, we wrote an article to talk about why they should not shut down internet again in 2021, and this article was wrote by our community and was published on idoc.bg and also in Internet Society website. So the title of the article is "Why should the internet be cut in Benin during the presidential election of April 2021. So that is a good action we did because it helped many people to know why they should not shut down internet again this year for the election. Next slide, please. So another action we did is about we wrote an open letter with Kipiton. You know, Kipiton is the coalition working on digital rights. So we wrote an open letter. So this open letter also were shared online, and many people signed this open letter also. Next slide, please. So another action we did is about we make many communication about platform. We have in Benin a platform which help us to fight against fake news. That platform was created by IGF Benin, which is an association who work for internet in Benin, and we help them to share the platform and help everybody to know more about fake news. So this also helps people to know that fake news is not good, and they can go to this website to know if the information they have is fake or no. So that is also one action we did to prevent internet shutdown in 2021. Next slide, please. Also, we launched a digital campaign on social media. This digital campaign was 11 days campaign. So each day we publish in our social media with with many organizations, some great message about internet. So why did internet did not shut down? And also we talk about the importance to have internet during and after the election. So that was also some great action we did to prevent this situation beginning. And we did it for 11 days, and many people like it. Next slide, please. Also, we did a press conference with some internet actors in Benin, and this press conference was done at Cotonou with Frank Kuyami from IGF Benin, and also we have a good conversation, and many people joined the conversation to know more about internet shutdown and why they should not shut down internet again this year. So that one helped many people in our community to know that internet shutdown is not good. It's not good. Next slide, please. Also, we did many actions that helped us to also prevent this shutdown in 2091. We use some platform to measure the internet traffic. So we use like PulseInternetSociety.org shutdown, and also we use another platform to measure the internet. Next slide, please. Okay, so I would love to say that in conclusion that to prevent the shutdown, the internet shutdown in 2021 in Benin, we launched many events in our country, and this one helped us to prevent effectively the shutdown of internet during the presidential election. So we have the open letter, which we did with the Kibiton coalition, and also we write another open letter where we share online, and also we did a press conference, and after that we did a digital campaign to help more people to know that internet shutdown is not a good thing and what we are losing when internet is shut down. So thank you. I hope you hear me a lot. I'm there for your question. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much, Rachad. If anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat. We will address them as we can. I don't see any at the moment, so we can move on to our next speaker. So this is going to be about our focus on the internet resilience in Africa. We just launched this week, and we're super excited about it. It's a project that we are working with Afrinic, the regional internet interregistry for Africa called MIRA, Measuring Internet Resilience in Africa. As I mentioned earlier, the project is brand new. We just launched it, and we are really excited to have our early career fellow Dieudonné speak about it. He has been working on the project since the beginning, and certainly knows more than I do about it. So without further ado, Dieudonné, take it away.
Thank you, Kenneth, for the kind introduction. I said my name is Dieudonné, and today I'll be speaking about internet measurement in general, and also about the work of the MIRA in terms of the resilience of the internet. I'll then finalize with how I got involved with the project and what actually motivated me as a NISOC early career fellow. So as we all know, the internet is critical. It plays a critical role in society today. And situations such as the COVID, the current pandemic has further underlined the importance of reliable internet connectivity for everyone. In Africa, mobile broadband networks deployment are growing, whereby 80% of traffic is accessed by mobile devices, but with internet penetration rates that still need improvement. But as broadband networks get deployed, network operators, policy makers and end users still need and have the right to access accurate information about the health and infrastructure within their networks, and all of them for their individual reasons. This information is only retrievable through internet measurements in the aim of understanding the true behavior of networks and in order to improve their performance. As the scientist Lord Kelvin back in 1883 said, I quote, "When you can measure what you're speaking about and express it in numbers, you know something about it. But when you cannot measure it, when you cannot express it in numbers, your knowledge is of measure and an unsatisfactory kind." Across the court. So that leads us to the MIRA project. So as Kenneth said, MIRA is measuring internet resilience in Africa, and it is a joint initiative between the Africa Network Information Center, AFRINIC, and the Internet Society, with the goal of evaluating the capability of a country to provide a stable and reliable means of internet connectivity at all times. Essentially, this has been motivated by the fact that in Africa, especially the low-income countries, usually have under-provisioned networks and lack proper cable infrastructure or redundant internet systems. And in addition to that, any low-income countries do not have the capacity to thoroughly audit the internet infrastructure, and in many cases, they have not developed or adopted best practices for building resilient internet infrastructure. So that's why, based on the results from this project, the experts involved in it will provide recommendations in the form of best practices that could help networks or countries achieve higher internet resilience. So in the previous slide, I mentioned the term internet resilience, but what does that actually mean? From the MIRA team's perspective, we can talk about the resilience of the internet in a network or in a country by following 5 key elements. The first being the availability and stability of the physical infrastructure, which includes power stations, undersea or terrestrial fiber, landing stations, and last mile access networks. The second element is the quality of service of the network from the end user's perspective, and the stability of the network in terms of reachability, throughput, and latency to selected target servers. The third key element is the availability and performance of the domain name system, as some refer to it as the phone book of the internet. So how available and how well it's performing also contributes to the resilience of the internet. The fourth element is the availability and efficiency of the local peering fabric, as well as the ability of the country to keep content local. And last but not least, the resilience of the ISP market. That means the level of concentration towards specific networks, sometimes referred to as autonomous systems, and more importantly, the affordability of that market. By the way, the Pulse platform has released some results which are available. I highly recommend to check it out as it's quite insightful. So as an Internet Society early career fellow, what really motivated me to get involved in this particular project? So I would say I got involved in the MIRA project prior to the call for application of the the Early Career Fellowship Program by the Internet Society. However, before applying to the program, I consulted some of the internet experts I was collaborating with as a way to show my interest and get to hear what their opinion is. And they basically encouraged me to go for it, and I applied. I'm glad that turned into a success. Also, earlier before that, I had become a member of the ISOC chapter from the Democratic Republic of Congo, so that I could potentially contribute to ISOC mission in the world of the internet. So back to what was my motivation to contribute to MIRA in particular, I would say that the goal of the project goes in line with my personal research interests. As mentioned, I mean, for information, I'm currently pursuing my master's degree in computer science at the University of Cape Town, where I focus on network performance measurements in developing African regions. So that said, I also wanted to get engaged in an industry-led project as an academic student. So regarding my tasks in the project, in the beginning, it was mostly data visualization, coming up with dashboards and data cleaning and all that. And then also afterwards, we jumped into automating manual process that was involved in the monitoring of the project. So that's pretty much what I had for you today. Thank you for listening. Back to you, Kenneth.
Thanks very much. As I said, this is a really interesting project. We're really excited about it. If anybody has questions, pop them in the chat, or you come up with questions later, you can email us at Pulse, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. The project will also be evolving over time, so we launched this week, but it'll be changing, so keep up and yeah, just help us spread the word about this. We think it's really cool, and we think it can really help the internet in Africa. And then for our final presentation, we have a video recording of Maria from UNI, which is the Open Observatory of Network Interference, which is a Pulse platform partner. They help us with the shutdowns area using their network. And she's going to explain some of what UNI does and give us an overview of how you can take part in one of the largest decentralized citizen-led internet censorship observatories around the world, which is a very cool project. We use some of their data for our shutdowns work. So yeah, without further ado, if you could throw up the video of Maria, that would be great.
Thank you, Susanna, and thank you, Dieudonné and Harold, for your excellent talks before. And before, Dieudonné talked about the importance of internet measurement. And as part of this very brief presentation, I'm going to discuss how you can actively measure internet censorship. And why internet censorship? Well, I think literally every country in the world has some form of internet censorship. Usually what differs is, you know, what is blocked and how censorship differs from country to country. Practically speaking, in many countries around the world, you may see that major social media platforms such as WhatsApp or Facebook are blocked, often during political events, such as during elections and protests. But also you may see that a number of other platforms, such as the websites of LGBTIQ communities or ethnic and religious minorities, may be blocked as well. So this leaves us with a question of, given that censorship can vary and does vary from country to country and often from network to network, and given that censorship can and does change over time, often in correlation with political events, how can we, the people, have a clear overview and insight into what is blocked, where, when, why, and how? In an attempt to answer this question, 9 years ago, back in 2012, we created the Open Observatory of Network Interference, which is commonly known as UNI. The basic idea behind UNI is that we want to enable everyone to have the ability to independently measure the network that they're connected to and investigate and check whether various forms of internet censorship are on their network. But having us all individually check our networks for censorship is not enough, because that doesn't inform us about, ultimately there's a question of how do we know what is blocked where? And that is why we have created a system by which not only can you run specific tests in order to investigate internet censorship, but also that we collect these test results from all around the world and publish them in real time as open data. And in doing so, our goal is to increase transparency of internet censorship and enable everyone to learn in real time what is blocked around the world. And thanks to our global community from all around the world, we have had the opportunity to collect millions of network measurements from more than 200 countries and territories. And they span all the way from 2012 to today and include a lot of evidence on various forms of internet censorship. So practically, how can you get involved? You can install our app. It's called Uniprobe. Uniprobe is available for both mobile and desktop platforms. On mobile platforms, you can install it on Android, F-Droid, and iOS. On desktop platforms, you can install it on Windows, Linux, and Mac. And as you can see here from the slide, Uniprobe has a variety of different tests, and you can run the test by tapping on the Run button. Specifically, Uniprobe includes tests that fall under the categories that you see here in the slide. You can run tests to check whether and how specific websites are blocked. You can run tests to check whether instant messaging apps are blocked. Specifically, it includes tests for WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Telegram, and Signal. And we also include tests for checking the accessibility of VPNs, specifically Siphon and RiseUp VPN, and you can also check to see if Tor is blocked. But in addition to these tests, which check for the blocking of websites and apps, you can also run speed and performance tests to check your network speed and also to check video streaming performance. One thing that I would really like to highlight is the importance of automated testing. And basically what this means is that instead of having to remember to manually run tests through the Uniprobe app, you can go to the settings of the Uniprobe app and enable automated testing. This means that Uniprobe will automatically run the tests for you. Depending on the platform, this could be multiple times a day, but in any case, it will ensure daily testing. And daily testing is very important because it enables the global community to have data, which is basically checking networks on an ongoing basis. And so if and when suddenly some services get blocked, hopefully we will be able to detect them through the data contributed from automated testing. Before you install Uniprobe, one important thing to highlight is that running Uniprobe might be potentially risky for some users in high-risk environments. We have extensive documentation which explains what are some of the potential risks on our website. But I think the main things to know are that, first of all, Uniprobe is not a privacy tool in the sense that if someone is actively monitoring your internet activity, such as your government or your ISP, they will know that you are running Uniprobe in the sense that the fact that you're running the software is not in itself hidden. And that is also true for all other software that you're running on your devices. Another thing to keep in mind is that the default testing includes a very broad range of different types of websites, some of which might be quite provocative to test in some countries. So again, we recommend reviewing which websites you will be testing or testing only the websites of your choice. And we'll get into this in a second. And the third thing to know is that by default, your Uniprobe test results will be openly published. And the reason why we do this is so that, again, we can increase transparency of internet censorship and so that researchers and advocates around the world can access this type of data in order to investigate and fight internet censorship. So in order to minimize potential risk, there are various choices you can make. For sure, we recommend speaking to lawyers and experts in your country to receive relevant consultation. But from a practical perspective, you can, for example, limit your testing to the specific tests that you feel comfortable with instead of running all tests. For example, it might be, in some contexts, somewhat safer to run a speed test in comparison to a test which tests a bunch of banned websites. What you can also do is that through the privacy settings of the app, you can disable the automatic publication of your test results. The reason why it's enabled by default is because, as mentioned, this will help the global community. But if you don't feel comfortable in doing so, you can disable this. Another thing that you can do is that you can contribute to the test lists, which are the lists of websites that are tested by Uniprobe. The test lists specifically are hosted by the Citizen Lab, which is a research institute at the University of Toronto, and they publicly host these lists on GitHub, where you can review them. These lists include the websites that are tested by Uniprobe, and there are two types of test lists. On the one hand, there is a global list, which includes internationally relevant websites, such as facebook.com and twitter.com, and these websites are tested by all Uniprobe users globally. But it also includes country-specific test lists, which only include websites that are relevant to a specific country. We encourage you to review these lists and to contribute to them, especially since the quality of the data really depends on what is being tested. And we believe that local communities are best positioned to determine what should be tested in their countries. And if you're interested in contributing, please refer to the guide on our website, which is also linked over here. If you would like to refrain from testing the canonical websites in the test list, and if you would like to instead just test the websites that you care about, there are various ways that you can do that. One way of doing that is that through the websites card in the Uniprobe app, if you tap on that card, you will see a Choose Websites button. By tapping on the Choose Websites button, you will see a screen like the one on the left, where you can manually type the website or websites, plural, that you want to test, and just tap Run to test them on the spot. If you are, on the other hand, interested in testing the websites that are in the Citizen Lab test list, but would only want to test the categories of websites that you feel comfortable with, you can enable and disable the categories of websites of your choice through the relevant settings of the app as illustrated in the right screen. So for example, if you only care to test news media websites, you can disable all the other categories and just leave news media enabled. And if you would like to test your own custom list of websites, which is something that researchers we have seen frequently like to do, in this case, you can copy paste your own list of websites into the UniRun platform, as is illustrated here, that you can access at run.uni.io. All you do is copy paste your list of websites, click the generate button, and this will generate a mobile deep link that you can then use with your Uniprobe mobile app to test directly your list of websites. But more importantly, UniRun has been a powerful tool for coordinating censorship testing in a decentralized way around the world. Over the years, our community members frequently use UniRun in order to generate links based on the testing of specific websites that they care about, and they share these links with their communities in various countries around the world in order to do targeted testing, particularly in response to emergent censorship events during protests and elections. All of these test results are, as mentioned, openly published in real time. And one of the places where they're published is UniExplorer. UniExplorer is a web platform that we have built in order to enable the public at large, and specifically human rights defenders and researchers, to more easily navigate through the data, explore the data, and find charts and other things that can be of use. Specifically, what I think is probably currently one of the most powerful features of UniExplorer is the search tool, where through the search tool, you can filter the measurements based on the country and the networks that you care about, and you can also filter the results based on confirmed blocked. In this example here, you can see some of the most recently confirmed blocked websites in Iran, which you can very easily access by just filtering based on Iran and confirmed. And then if you click on each of these rows, you will access the raw measurement data pertaining to each tested website. And the reason why we say confirmed blocked in this case is because the raw measurement data shows that a block page has been served, and therefore that network measurement data can potentially be used as evidence of internet censorship. If you're interested in performing your own analysis, and we definitely encourage you to do so, you can get UNI data from the UNI API, where you can download it in the JSON format. However, please use the UNI API primarily for lightweight queries, because UNI Explorer relies on the API. And so basically, if you do database heavy queries, there's the risk that Explorer will go down for everyone else. So instead, if you're interested in batch analysis, in that case, we recommend fetching UNI data from the Amazon S3 buckets. And we have a blog post where we explain how you can practically fetch the data. And based on all this data that has been contributed by community members around the world, we regularly publish research reports in collaboration with our partners around the world, where we document various censorship events. We're a small team of 6 people, so we obviously don't have the capacity to report on every single censorship event that is detected through the data. And that is why we encourage you to look at the data, explore it, analyze it, and hopefully produce your own research reports based on the data. And of course, you can also make use of the data to support advocacy efforts in other interesting ways. So that being said, we do hope that you feel inspired to run UniProbe, contribute measurements, and get involved. These are our contact details. If you'd like to stay in touch with the UNI team, if you have any questions, and if you'd like to interact with the UNI community, please do join us on the UNI Slack channel. And we'll be following up now to share a link through which you can install UniProbe. Thanks a lot.
That was Maria from UNI. They do really great work. They're a super important partner for us. We popped the link to download an UNI probe into the chat. If you are willing and able to download it, that would be great. The more probes, the better. The more probes, the better the information. It will not only help UNI, but help us track shutdowns, which is a very important part of our work. I don't see any questions, so I think now it's time to close the session. I want to thank everyone for attending. Again, the community is super important to us, so we're really grateful for everyone. Thank you to all the speakers. They were very helpful for all our work. If you have questions, again, you can write us at pulse@italk.org. We'll get back to you as quickly as we can. If you have ideas for stuff we can do with Pulse, that'd be great. If you have data you like to share. We also have a blog that we update regularly, and we do have outside contributors write blogs sometimes. So if you have ideas for that, we're really open to anything. You can also tweet at us. We'll respond there too. And finally, sign up for the Pulse mailing list. We are going to be sending out emails pretty regularly now that we have all these 4 focus areas up, and we'll be adding stuff all the time. So just to keep up with the work we're doing at Pulse, that's the best way. Finally, a big thank you to our event sponsor, Amazon, and Flex Optics, who provided the interpretation and captioning for all of the events today. That's a really invaluable work for us. With that, we'll close 2 minutes early, and if you have any questions, send them along. Thanks for joining, and please enjoy the rest of Community Week. Thanks.